This session is, well, sorry to disappoint you, but I don't have any PowerPoint. Is that all right?
It's good, actually.
Okay. Okay. So this is my PowerPoint. We're doing self-management and self-organization. We're doing something called Agile Games, some games that help us experience and learn things. I have a couple. I'm Richard Kasparowski. If you want to contact me, that would be amazingly great. Please do. Please send me email or message me on Twitter. That would be great. Richard@kasparowski.com. Check out my website, kasparowski.com. So we're going to do a few things that are different and unusual, maybe a little scary, but definitely fun, okay? We're going to do a lot of things about self-management and self-organization. Has anybody here heard of the Agile Manifesto?
Richard, you know Mike?
No. Can everybody hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, we're good? You guys hear me? Okay.
You would need it for the recording.
It's on. Did I just go on? I don't want that. So in the Agile Manifesto, there's a value that says we value individuals and interactions. We're going to do a lot of interacting. There's a principle that says that self-organized teams develop the best architectures and get the best results. We're going to do a lot of self-organizing during this 45 minutes. All right? Here's the first activity that we're going to do. Invite everybody to stand up. And look at the chair in front of you or behind you, and move that chair over to the wall. We want some open space. So get all these chairs out of the way. We're going to be moving around using the entire floor. Everything that we're doing is voluntary. Nobody has to do any of this. If you don't want to do anything we're doing, that's totally okay. You can just not do it. You can stand by the wall. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable, okay? Nobody has to do anything we're doing. This is all voluntary and opt-in. For our first activity, I need a volunteer to play boss. Is there anybody who wants to be boss? Anybody boss? Come on up. All right, boss.
I'll put this in the bag.
That's your name? Ronak? Okay. Ronak is the boss, okay? We're going to do an activity called lineup, and Ronak is the boss.
Yes. He wants to take revenge, right?
Maybe he's going to take revenge. So Ronak is going to have 1 minute to play boss. He's going to arrange everybody in the room by birth date. And because he's the boss, he's just going to tell you where to stand. So as the boss, he's really, really smart, right? He knows everything. He knows how to tell everybody what to do. And as workers, we just stand there and wait to be told what to do. So that's what you guys do. You're just going to stand and wait and be told what to do. As boss, your job is to line everybody up in order by birth date. So people born on January 1 will go over there. People born on December 31 will go over there. And then everybody in between in order, okay?
Excellent.
And you're a great boss. So I know you can do this in, a minute. Yeah. Okay.
You don't want any volunteers for the next round or what?
So all right, I've got a 1 minute timer going. Boss, you ready?
Yep.
All right, go.
Okay, so I want the January here, the Feb here, and that case I want the entire team to be split into that. So into columns here. Okay, so January here, everybody in Jan. Feb, the next floor.
November.
March, August, Feb, July. July,
June, please.
Okay, the first week towards the front, the second week towards behind that, third week behind that, fourth week behind that. The first week in the front.
Alright, time's up. Time's up. So another thing I'm going to be doing here is if you see me raising my hand, it means I'm asking for your attention. I'm just going to raise my hand and wave.
Can you repeat, please? What you said?
I'm going to raise my hand and wait for your attention. All right, boss. That's not what I asked for. So this is really nice. Columns of people by birth month, but we wanted January 1st and December 31st in a straight line in between. That was really hard, wasn't it?
I was getting there. But
Yeah, that was really hard.
In the next release, probably.
After each of these activities, we'll do a quick debrief, okay? So, boss, what was that like for you?
Not bad. There was a time when there was a lot of chaos, but the teams were doing it on their own, so it was fun.
All right, a lot of chaos. It was more fun when teams were doing it on their own.
Yes.
Anybody who was a worker have anything to say?
About the boss, or?
About anything?
There was no contribution from boss.
No contribution from boss, wow.
I think the team was self-organized. They were trying to organize themselves.
Actually, the way it worked is we just self-organized. So let's do it again. And we'll do it actually this way across the room. And we're going to line up by how long you have worked at your company. How long have you had your current job, okay? If you just started today, stand here. If you've been there for 40 years, stand over there. And everybody in between, in order, from newest at job to oldest at job. How long have you worked there? And all together, you guys get 1 minute to do this. Ready? Go.
4 years, 4 years. 4
Time's up. It looks like you guys got it done before time was up.
You're getting better in
So, boss. What was that like for you guys?
There was no boss in the role.
What was that?
There was no boss in the role.
Yeah, it was all self-organized. How did that feel compared to having a boss? So without a boss, it worked. That was actually really easy, right? And you guys didn't know anything about, well, very few of you knew each other before we started this, so nobody knew where they were going to stand before we did this. Even sitting down next to people, you didn't really know each other that well. Anything else about how that one felt?
Good.
Felt good? Yeah, because you could control your outcome in it together?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do 2 more of these. Now, this way, across the room, just because I like to watch you guys move. Your experience with Agile. Okay, so if you just heard of Agile today, stand over here. If you signed the Agile Manifesto, you're at that end of the room. All right? So in order from experience with Agile, from just heard about it to signed the manifesto. Across the room that way. 1 minute, go.
3 years.
And this is going to be really hard. This is a 2-dimensional lineup now. Stay where you are in this dimension. Okay, experience with Agile. Then in this dimension, right, this is a 2-dimensional graph now. In this dimension, your experience with Agile games. All right, so if this is your first time doing Agile games, this side of the room, but stay where you are in that dimension, right, this side. If you have, if you wrote the book on Agile games, right? Makes sense? Stay where you are in this dimension, experience with Agile. And in this dimension, experience with Agile games. First time doing it, wrote a book. Okay, go. Alright, cool. Alright, this is great. So now we know a lot about each other in that self-organized way. We know who all the special people are in the room, okay? We know that we've got a lot of new friends right here, less experienced at Agile, less experienced at games for Agile. And these are people that we want to welcome into our community and make sure they feel good about being here and help them out with everything they need help with. Welcome. People over there have a lot of experience with Agile and some experience with Agile games, right? So if you guys, especially over here, if you guys want to know more about Agile and more about games, those are the people. Yeah. So, and they probably want to talk to you, because that's why we're here at a conference, so we can meet each other and talk to each other. Anything else about what we just did as a form of self-organizing? Anybody want to add a comment?
It's fun.
It's fun. Yeah, self-organizing is fun.
And learning. It's a natural way of doing things.
It's a natural way of doing things. Self-organizing is natural.
Local
manual
chaos
traffic.
management manages
Like-
global
Manual
chaos.
traffic.
That's good. Another example of self-organizing, Bangalore traffic. Yeah. I've heard there are rules, but I took my first motor rickshaw ride the other night with some friends from the conference, and to make it exciting, he went the wrong way. It was pretty exciting. Okay, so that was that game. That game is called Lineup. It's an example of an Agile game, an experiential learning activity. Okay, if you want to do some Agile games at your work, but your boss doesn't like the word games because we're supposed to be doing work, you can call this is a pro tip, you can call these experiential learning activities. And then you sound really smart and you can have a lot of fun at work, okay? All right. What else? So we're doing this because there's different modes of learning, okay? One is like reading a book, one is listening to somebody talk, which you're doing right now, and another one is practicing what you do, right? So we learn Agile, we learn coding and developing software better by practicing it instead of by listening to somebody talk about it. And teaching it is another great way. Some of my goals for this session are that, well, you can hear a little bit about what we're doing. You can practice it a lot. It's experiential. And maybe, after having practiced it, you can teach it to somebody else. So you can take these experiential learning activities and maybe do them at your office with your colleagues. That was our first game. I learned lineup, the first time I did it was with Lisa Atkins, who's here at the conference. It's also a very common icebreaker activity. It's documented in a lot of books for actors, just books for people getting to know each other better. So that was our first activity. Our second activity is a game, an experiential learning activity, called 60 Paces, okay? For this game, everybody needs a partner. So let's start first, find a partner. Could be the person standing right next to you. The people pair up. When you have a partner, raise your hand. Everybody have a partner? Okay. We're going to be doing some walking around. If you're wearing shoes that inhibit your mobility, it's okay to take them off. I will model. Okay? Okay to take your shoes off. Here's how the game works. One of you is a boss, and one of you is a worker. If you're the boss, raise your hand. So, okay, for every pair of people, one of you is a boss, and one of you is a worker. Decide who's the boss and who's the worker. If you're a boss, raise your hand. Okay, so you're a boss. Boss and worker, you are a little company, okay? And your goal is to take many steps. You get paid 100 rupees for every step you take in 60 seconds, okay? Worker, you can, no, I'm not actually paying you. Worker, you can only do exactly what your boss says, okay? You're only allowed to do what your boss says. Boss, you are only allowed to issue 4 commands. Go straight, turn left, turn right, stop. Okay, boss, you have 4 commands for your worker. Straight, turn left 90 degrees, turn right 90 degrees, and stop.
And how many times?
You can issue any command you want, as many times as you want. And boss, your goal is to get your worker to go as many steps as possible in 60 seconds. Worker, you can only do exactly what your boss says. Okay? Ready? 60 seconds, the boss and worker starts now. Go. 60 steps did you guys take? 90 steps.
70, 55, 55.
Anybody get more than 90?
144.
Okay. 42. All right, so we got a range from 40s to 140. 105. Very good. Okay. Second round of this. No bosses. Everybody is a worker. All by yourself. See how many steps you can take in 1 minute.
Even boss has to work now.
What is the 507? One second. Yeah, two actually.
All right, time's up. Did anybody get fewer steps than the first two?
You should ask the question, how many took the right steps? So everybody's going around in a circle.
I noticed that. I noticed there was sort of a flow. Did anybody else notice that?
So without a boss, the worker could not follow, right?
Bottom line is we don't want bosses.
So sometimes bosses get in the way. Yeah, that was a lot easier without a boss than it was with a boss. If you were a boss, what did that feel like in the first round?
I had to walk with the worker,
You had to
give him
walk
the
with the
instruction.
worker,
Yeah.
give instructions.
And there is no value add, you are only giving instructions.
The boss added 0 value. You only got credit for the worker's steps.
And I took this.
There was pressure as a boss. The boss was shouting at the worker. The whole thing was stressful for the boss and the worker. As a worker, what did it feel like first round?
We are not allowed to think.
We're not allowed to think. You felt controlled. What else?
We couldn't move faster.
Felt controlled.
Boss has to pass the data.
What?
The boss asked to punch the data. So we forgot to count, so he was making up numbers. So.
Sometimes the boss can't even count.
We couldn't move faster.
I think the quality was bad. People are bumping on in our.
Quality was bad with the boss.
People are bumping.
People were bumping into each other, getting in each other's way. Yeah.
Because boss didn't give right direction.
Boss didn't give right directions. We were only allowed to do what the boss said. Second round, no bosses. What was that like?
Efficiency doubled.
Efficiency doubled. So people got twice as many steps.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Ownership.
Ownership, self-ownership. So we felt much better about this. We owned the work.
Better coverage. You are able to change the better coverage of the responsibility.
Better coverage of the responsibility.
Yeah,
We
you don't have to
could,
wait for the boss to.
we could learn it and do it faster without waiting for the boss.
We are focusing on the outcome, how many rupees we get.
We're focusing on the outcome, how many steps, how many rupees, as opposed to focusing on the boss. We're actually focusing on the business value instead of what the boss was saying.
And we are able to adjust the course when there is obstacles.
And we could just get around impediments. If somebody was in the way, you could just get around. Okay, so we'll stop there. So that game is 60 paces. It's a game that sort of demonstrates self-organization as, for many complex problems, like walking, it's a very complex problem, that you can solve many complex problems more easily by being self-organized and self-managed. So credit for that game. I played that game the first time with Jeff Sutherland as a teacher. It's a pretty common game. That was my first encounter with it. Okay, so that was our second game, 60 paces. Third game is a game called Triangles. This is probably where we'll wrap up. So here's how Triangles works. Look around the room, secretly pick 2 people who you'll think of as your friend. Doesn't have to be a friend you had yesterday, could be just a random person in the room. Secretly pick 2 people. Don't tell anybody who your friends are, it's a secret, okay? We can all keep secrets, right? I'm counting on you. Counting on you to keep this all secret. Okay. With you and your 2 secret friends, you're not telling your friends who they are, it's a secret. Move yourself around so you're forming the points of an equilateral triangle. Okay? You know, equilateral triangle. Wow. Okay, so you and your 3 friends, 3 secret friends, are the points of an equilateral triangle. Move your feet until you form an equilateral triangle with your 2 secret friends. Don't tell them who they are. Are the rules clear? Any questions about the rules? Okay, so with your 2 secret friends, form equilateral triangles. Go. And I'm going to play. Keep moving around so you have equilateral triangles.
No more a secret. One takes it lost.
You have to keep searching. This is the right pick, actually. It's not moving.
Don't change friends, I'll make it too
And the triangle just got blocked out.
It's like a moving target. It's really hard to do.
Let's stop there. Thank you. It actually only stabilizes if you wait long enough. I don't know if you can imagine doing that with a boss. That would kind of be crazy. Second round of that game, okay, this is a little different. You are now a secret agent, okay? And you have somebody that you're protecting and somebody that you're protecting him or her from. Okay.
Sorry, come again. Okay.
You are a secret agent,
Okay.
and you still have two secret people. Could be two different people. Okay. And you have somebody that you're protecting, right? Sort of like a celebrity, maybe. And you have an enemy, that person's enemy, secret enemy, okay? Like a celebrity stalker or something, okay? Your job as the protector is to stand directly in the middle of them. Okay? So you're a secret agent. Nobody can know who you're protecting and who you're protecting them from. You pick two people, one person you're protecting, one person you're protecting them from, and you stand exactly in the middle of them to protect the person. Do the rules make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we declare this?
Can you
or
repeat?
it's again secret?
Can you repeat once again?
Sure. You are a secret agent. You pick two people secretly. One of them is somebody special, and one of them is the person's enemy. And you have to protect the special person from the enemy by standing directly between them. Okay?
Should we be facing the friend or the enemy?
There are no other rules. There are no other rules. Okay? Ready? Go.
Just a tangent. Job is to find a celebrity.
One was protecting us to do
What are you doing?
No, if two people are standing, just go stand in the These two are standing, so that we can go and stand.
I'll tell you.
Are we there?
The person I am protecting absconded.
All right, so maybe we can stop there. So that was another very, very complex problem, right? We took a step up from forming a line and taking steps to just forming a triangle. What did that feel like as a player in the game, as a participant? Anybody?
We end up in protecting ourselves.
You ended up protecting yourself. Nice. Anything else?
I had a completely different problem. I was protecting her from him, and then he was protecting her.
Actually, supposed to stand in between, but he always came in between. I think he was protecting her from her.
So you found an unsolvable problem.
Yeah.
And you noticed it was unsolvable.
Yeah.
Without knowing ahead of time that
Yeah.
you're both
I just
protecting
stepped
the same
back, yeah.
person.
All that I decided is that if two people are standing close by, I would just go and stand in the middle. That's all. So one of them is protecting. I mean, I'm protecting always.
Yeah.
So
You are
the other
the
two.
They were friends and you were
The
trying to.
result was not clear.
The goal and the result was not clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no communication, so it was leading to lack of coordination.
It was uncoordinated.
Yeah.
No communication.
Stakeholders actually were not knowing all the stakeholders, right?
Uh-huh.
Whom you are protecting and from whom getting protected.
All right. So for both rounds of that, the triangles and the protectors, what do you think that would have been like with a boss telling you where to stand?
Actually, here there is one more lack of trust. We don't know that whether I am an enemy or friend like that.
So trust is a part of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Does anybody have an idea what that might have been like with a boss?
The boss knows everything.
The boss knows everything.
Even that's cool, right? It
Yeah.
would have been cool if you knew who you were protecting and.
So we actually solved the problem. We stabilized in about 1 minute. Do you think a boss would have done better?
I think depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
Without informing the stakeholders, it's difficult.
That important the stakeholder would be difficult.
Depends who is
Because boss knows who's who. Boss knows who's who.
No, the boss does not know. Boss has no other
Oh,
information.
boss is
You are the CIA.
Then it doesn't help.
So it's like in the first game, if the boss doesn't have any extra information compared to the workers, it wouldn't have added any value.
Then I think there would have been no value at all.
Would have been no value at all. Probably wouldn't have solved it.
Or if someone would have facilitated that how what to do, like it would have given some.
A facilitator might have helped.
We
Wonder
should
where
have
we
had
could find a
more
facilitator.
We should have had more transparency because if you knew who was the protector and who was the defender,
Oh, yeah.
then you could have,
Would have been easier with more transparency, like communicating. All right. So those two games are Triangles and Secret Agent. I learned those at there's actually a conference about all this stuff. There's a few. I learned this at the Agile Games Conference, which is a conference that we have in the U.S. And these are sort of like theater games and warm-ups that people can do, and they're sort of good demonstrations of self-organizing. We did that self-organized. Nobody told you exactly where to stand, and yet you knew exactly where to stand. You just figured it out.
The goal of this game though wasn't as clear as the other two. Like there you could say that you don't need the boss,
Okay.
but here I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure what we accomplished.
Yeah, not sure what we accomplished. So
Yeah.
it was just an experience of being self-organized.
Okay.
That really was the goal. I think that is just about all we have time for. Let's see. I will write a URL here so you can find all of these activities plus more. Okay, I have these all documented on my website. I also have a survey, if you don't mind going to this URL and answering the questions. It would help me make this session better, and I would really appreciate your help. We have one final activity, okay? I invite you to help with this final activity. The activity is put the chairs back. Can we all do that?
Yes.
All right. And I thank you all very much for coming. Thank you.